Hi, Barbie Jimenez here, Conscious Parent Coach, and I am going to share a lesson with you today, a skill that I have been practicing for a few years and I found to be extremely helpful. And my children, who are now teenagers, have given me many opportunities to practice this. So I imagine that right now, all the parents that are in lockdown at home during this pandemic could also use this skill to help them get through this and come out of it with a new skill that will help them with all of their relationships. So what is this skill that I'm talking about? It's called quit taking it personal. Yep, it's a hard one. We take things personal. Why do we take things personal? Well, usually because things aren't going the way we expected them. Some story we had created about how things should be isn't coming true. And so we are upset about it and we rebel. And so when our children say something like, "I hate you," or "I wish you weren't in my life," this story of how dare they? How dare they? They can't talk to me like that. That's so disrespectful. All these cultural beliefs start coming up, and beliefs from when we were growing up that we heard. And it kind of eggs us on. So, first I want to say that even after all the years of practice, I am not perfect at this, and there are many times when I forget to put it to practice. But the more you do it, the easier it gets, and the more often you'll do it. So again, we're not shooting for perfection here. We're just trying to learn and grow. And if you notice that you did take it personal and you totally reacted and lost it on your child, there's always an opportunity to reflect and go back and repair it. All right, so what's step number one? Your child says something to you that trigger something within you. You feel angry, frustrated, disappointed, insulted, disrespected, and it starts to rumble inside you. So step number one is to notice what's happening. Notice what's coming up for you. Notice what you're feeling. Sometimes we can't even stop long enough to notice and we just react. So the first step to be able to respond without reacting is to notice that there's something going on inside of you. Then do nothing. Do nothing until you can calm yourself down. When you're in that state, you can't access critical thinking. You can't access problem solving, which is in your prefrontal cortex, because that's how the brain works. You're just in survival mode, you're triggered, you are emotional, you can't get there. And by the way, children or young adults, teenagers, don't even have a fully developed prefrontal cortex until around 25 years old. So they can't even develop, it's not even developmentally appropriate for them to be able to access critical thinking and problem solving necessarily, especially not when they're having strong feelings. So you're the adult, you're the one that has the fully developed prefrontal cortex. It's your job to model how to deal with the feelings that are coming up. So do nothing, which also triggers another belief usually in us, which is like, well, if I do nothing, then, or if I'm accepting, then I'm condoning the behavior. And isn't it my job to teach them the correct way to behave? Isn't it my job as their parent to fix this? Or they're going to grow up rude and all kinds of crazy things that go through our head. Rude, disrespectful, irresponsible, right? How are they going to keep a job? Like we take it to the next level. So no, acceptance doesn't mean you're condoning the behavior. It just means you're accepting the moment for what it is right now, which is another deep lesson of conscious parenting. It's difficult because they're all intertwined, so it's hard to keep them separate. But I'm going to bring you back to quit taking it personal. So we noticed how we were feeling. We did nothing except breathe. When you breathe, you can calm your nervous system down. You can get to your prefrontal cortex to critical think and problem solve. And most importantly, you can connect to your heart, which is where you can find the compassion for yourself in that moment and for your child. And then you can be empathic and you can notice that their behavior is trying to tell you something. So don't get stuck on the behavior. Go under the behavior and notice, what is my child trying to tell me right now? So once you're calm and you're taking several breaths and you've calmed yourself down, and sometimes that takes hours, then it's important to ask yourself, what is this situation asking of me right now? Is my child asking for more connection? Is my child asking for a boundary, a limit that they're pushing up against me that I haven't been setting? Is my child asking me to teach them a skill that they need that I haven't taught them yet? Or maybe I've taught it, but how many times do we really need to practice our skills to internalize them and access them? And if they're in an emotional state or survival state, then they can't even access those skills. So again, no teaching in these moments where everybody's triggered. Hours later, moments later, when you feel called to it, when you find that sweet spot again with your child, you can work on the skills that they needed and say, well, when this happened, you could have tried to do this, and teach them the skills. And maybe you don't even teach it about that situation in particular, but you teach it later on in a different way. And then to go even deeper, reflect on what came up for you. Take a step back before the incident and see, how did you come to the incident, to the situation, to the interaction? Did you come with an open, calm energy? Or did you come with a negative, strong attack energy? Were you feeling triggered about something? I mean, you projected that onto the situation? Was there a story going on in your head that you were trying to instill? Journal about it and see what comes up for you. These interactions always have a lesson for us to go deeper and to learn. It's a journey. It's not about getting anywhere. It's about the process and the journey on the way. So these are some pretty difficult skills to put into practice, especially when we're feeling triggered. So I encourage you to listen to this video a few times, and if you have more questions, reach out. I'm here for you. Leave me a comment, email me, share with other parents you think this may be helpful for, and use this time where you're locked up during the pandemic to come out with a new, stronger skill or tool in your parenting tool belt. Bye for now. Wishing you well.